Okay, the championship continues. Join me and Ron Stebbene for BMX Beat. To BMX Beats and the continuation of the World Freestyle Championships. Me and Ron are getting in on the action, doing the commentaries and checking it out. We're going to start with the 14 plus ramps. Let's do it! Okay, we're back. Karl Denton, 14 plus ramps. Ron, we're back.
Yes, we are. If you think you've seen riding in freestyle, you may be wrong. This is riding in freestyle. You're going to see the best right now.
Okay, this is, once again, the 14 plus ramps. We have Karl Denton from Wales, sponsored by Skyway, and he likes pool and snooker, but freestyle is his main occupation, and we're going to see that today. Well, Ron, we've had a great first program. Are you expecting more in this one?
Yes, I am. We have some riders here that definitely catch air, that do fine performances in the air as well as on the ground, but this is ramp time. And we see right now our rider kind of sizing up the ramps, it seems, kind of taking it a bit easy at this moment. Looking back, looking good.
Okay, now these are not professionals, they're the 14 plus amateurs. Now, what sort of height are you expecting?
I would say the height that you're seeing right now is probably about average. It's you know, a good height for them, and again, judging is not done on the height alone. We have right now a little bit of ramp, wedge ramp being used.
Hopefully we'll see that used a bit more on this one, because like you were saying before, the small ramps haven't really been used too much, have they?
No, and I wish they would. Alley Canyon looking good. A little bit shaky on the end there. Get too close to the edge could cause problems. Up and over, Canyon time again. A fine rider, conservative rider, a nice young man.
Okay, we move swiftly on to the next rider, Stephen McIntosh from England, sponsored by Alico. This guy is incredible. We've watched him all the way through on the BMX Beat series, and now we're at the World Championships. Let's see how he can do. Excellent on ramps.
Yes, it's interesting. You should start off with a nose wheelie, 1 foot on the small wedge ramp. It's fine. Nice ride. Good canyon. Nice and smooth. Controlled. Nice there.
Now we're getting some air. This is getting interesting now.
Just a bit more than the last one, man. Looking back. We have to see some variations now to beat the first rider. First rider had some variations. We got to put a few more in. This young man has to have a little bit of riding.
He seems to be pacing himself a lot better than I've seen him do in most competitions.
I think he's wise in doing that. You can wear yourself out and not have enough steam and energy to do a real fine finale. I think that's what he's doing.
Okay, it's 30 seconds to go. Nice canyon jump there. It amazes me how they get so much air on the canyon jump.
That was a look down. Nice look down, good air. And I don't know if you noticed, but at the 30-second warning, he started to steam towards that ramp, meaning he was conserving his time, his energy rather.
That seems to be quite a new aerial, that look down.
Yes, it's being used quite a bit. No hand there. No hand there.
Okay, that's Steve McIntosh. Okay, we're back with Carlo Griggs from England. Now, this is going to be exciting, Ron.
Definitely. I think you're going to hear from the crowd in just a moment. This young man has a reputation for having the highest airs in the area. A foot plant, nicely done, nice and smooth.
Now, he seems to be gradually working up. There's a nice canyon jump.
Yes, he is, but watch now. Yeah, there it is. Got air. No footer over the canyon, looking high. Looking down. There's that look down. You're going to see more of those.
That looks incredible from where we're sitting.
It looks incredible and impossible. I don't know how they do it. No hand. You see that? The extension of the hands was great, and that separates the so-so rider from the great rider.
That was a great
rider here. And can. Real nicely done. on the lip of the ramp.
Okay, this seems to be the part of the routine where he's getting his breath back a bit. It's the 30-second buzzer.
I think he knows, too. I think he's saving a little bit of it. Cranking. Air.
Okay, just getting his concentration back by the look of it.
Either that or he might be winded, too. He's been constantly riding. Movement there. Fast movement. No hand, no foot. Alternating, of course.
Now, it amazes me how you would actually practice that.
Pop-up, fakie, rolling back smooth, maintaining his balance.
And that's Carlo Griggs. Okay, this is what we've been waiting to see. The crowd are freaking out. Mat Hoffman from the USA. He has absolutely freaked everybody out in the preliminary stages of this competition. And he's, what, 14 years old?
15, I believe.
Nearly 15 years old, and he is amazing. Nice 270 drop in.
Nicely done. This young man's had a problem along the way during the tour. He's had problems with tires blowing out on him. I think that might make him a bit on edge, but if I know him, he is going to go for it. Watch what he'll do here.
This looks good. Oh my God!
Did I tell you?
That, I mean,
no hand,
lost for words here. That's just incredible.
The extension on this young man is incredible. Did you see that switching of the hands as he went over the canyon?
Now this is a
total extension.
That's going to score very highly.
Alley-oop, no hand over the canyon.
This is amazing stuff. This is what we've been waiting for. The crowd are just absolutely freaking out. They've heard about this guy, and now they're seeing him. That was very close to the edge.
That was close to the edge.
And why was that? Was there not quite enough speed?
I think it's just a matter of judgment. He did make it, and I guess that's what counts. 1-footer. That's about as much as you can take off the bike without
still
being
survive.
Still survive.
Still be alive when you get back down.
That's right.
Now that was very interesting, Ariel, because he actually put his foot over the top of the handlebars as well.
Yes, he did.
Okay, that's Mat Hoffman. That's 4 riders in the 14-plus ramps. Let's go straight to the scores. Okay, I've got the scores. What a competition so far. I'll tell you what, we don't normally talk to the audience, so let's have a quick word. What do you think of Mat Hoffman? Can't say no more than that. Let's get down to it. Okay, Karl Denton, 143 points. Stephen McIntosh, 148. Carlo Griggs, 176. Wait for it. Mat Hoffman, 188. The world ramp champion, Mat Hoffman! Okay, here we go. No messing about now. Let's go straight into the 14-plus flatland. Let's do it! Okay, here we go for 14-plus flatland.
We have a young Matthews out there. Mr. Matthews. Starting off strong. Looking good. He's looking really good. He started off with a real hot spin on the bars. Oh, that's too bad, but he'll recover, I'm sure. Up. It's a little bit difficult. Yes.
Must be difficult to recover from that position.
Yes, yes. Once the momentum is built up, they have to keep the flow going. Up and over. Looking good. Back on the frame. Around and about.
How important is the actual speed of the routine? Because I've noticed a lot of the guys are fast and some of the guys are really slow.
That's right. I think if you look back on the records in the different events, you'll probably find that the rider that links together faster is probably the one to score higher. That's been my observation anyway. Nice. Nice. There's the speed that we're talking about. That's gonna win him points.
He liked that one as well. He shook his fist to the audience.
There you
really
go. Shook his fist at the audience.
Double
footed Switzerland, looking good. Up and over. Oh, it's too bad he couldn't continue that great flow that he had going.
30 seconds to go.
Look at this. He is doing fine. This guy has a lot of hot tricks.
It must be so annoying for the rider. He knows he's completed a really hot trick.
The frustration
and
must
then
be
he
there.
puts his feet down as well.
Yeah. And I'm guessing, too, that probably in practice he's pulled it off many times.
Sure.
And under the stress, it's great. Look at that. Over the top. Double decade attempted. Did touch down at the end.
flatland, we have Karl Denton from Wales. We've seen him in action on the ramp. Did exceptionally well, and let's see him go on the flatland. Now, he's an all-round rider, and I think we're going to be pleased. Excuse me. I think we're going to be pleased with what we're watching.
I think I am pleased if I'm watching. Chokes you up,
I'm so pleased I'm choking.
Yes, I can see that. No, he is a fine rider. Started off with a backward spring stand. From that point, he's continued on and doing very well and maintaining his balance and control. He's a small young man. I haven't seen any power moves. I haven't seen many power moves, as a matter of fact, up to this point. We've seen a lot of flowing, a lot of spinning.
By power moves, I mean, do you mean like moves like the gut lever?
Gut lever, right? That's correct. And also the top gun, that kind of thing. Probably see the bigger guys take care of that kind of stuff.
Do you think the size really makes a difference? I mean, are the smaller guys at disadvantage?
Well, I'll tell you, this size right here is about, I would say, appropriate for that size bike. When you're starting getting over 6 feet tall, although there are many riders that are in that category that do a fine job, I think it becomes a little bit more difficult. However, this rider, being a little shorter, can't do some of the tricks that a taller person might be able to do.
Does it affect the ramp riding? I mean, if you're a bigger rider, have you got more momentum?
I'm not sure it has that kind of an effect. I'm really not sure about that. I think that would be a good question to pose to a rider. 30
seconds to go.
Karl's a nice young man. I've had a chance to talk to him quite a bit. His parents are here. They're behind him very much.
That must play a big part in a rider's success, actually having some backup there.
Parental support, I think, is a very, very important element to a rider's success. I think that if the parents or someone, a manager, somebody's got to be behind these guys and kind of give them the encouragement that they need. And they do.
Okay, that was Karl Denton. And the next rider on the flatland section, 14 plus, is Jason Webb from England. Yet another English rider. We are doing so good in this competition. Hopefully we can come away with some world champions at the end of it.
Oh, I'm sure that you will. We have another fine rider here starting off very strong. Let's see if he can develop a rapport with his audience, though. Let's see if he can recognize that they're out there. I think that's an important feature that I think a lot of riders are missing, that some of them are doing the tricks for themselves only. I think they should recognize that the audience is there when they applaud, to at least wave, gesture, or something. Now we have some showmanship coming in here. Makes it a little bit more difficult. Take his hands off. Swinging around. Looking good. Looking very nice.
I would say that a lot of these guys do spend a lot of time going around doing shows, demonstrations, etc., etc. And I suppose that prepares them very well indeed for this type of competition, because they can really play to the audience then.
Sure, I would say that if a rider is a competitive rider only, I think he's missing out on something. Look at that. Decade after decade. Looking good. Touchdown at the very end. If he had held that would have been terrific. It is terrific, but I mean even more so. No, the show aspect, I think, is very important. The riders that have had experience in shows, I think they do develop this rapport with the audience. There we have a smile out of it.
30 seconds to go.
With such deep concentration, I'm sure it's difficult for a rider to think about smiling.
We actually did rugby at school, so maybe we'll see some power moves coming from him.
It's possible. He does look like a strong young man. Attempted a bar ride, maybe a rubber ride, which means that he'll be on the grips instead of in the center of the bar. Up and over, going with that double decade, pulled it off slick and clean.
He was really happy about it.
He knew he did well. Up on the grips again for rubber ride.
That was Jason Webb. Okay, this is a guy that we have really been looking forward to seeing. Straight out with a power move, going for a gut lever. Carlo Griggs from England. What can we say about this guy?
Well, you can say his ramp riding is terrific. He's, I guess, in the true sense of the word, awesome. Kind of an overused word in the States, but he certainly is an awesome rider. Doing a backwards nose wheelie and looking good. Looking real good. It's nice to be an overall rider, and there aren't that many that are good on both flatland and on ramp at the same time. Another power move.
Do you think the riders would actually prefer to do like the groundwork first before they hit the ramps, or doesn't it matter?
No, I've talked to riders that started off with their freestyle on the racetrack, and I think you're probably familiar with that scene. They would go over berms and bumps and lumps, and they end up sailing through the air, and I guess they like the breeze, and they end up taking it to their ramps. And some of them start off on flat land only and stay there.
I mean, in terms of competition, in a competition like this, would it be better for the riders to actually do the flat land first before they do their ramp section?
I think that would be a matter of personal preference. A lot of riders do say that, yes, it would be preferred to do their flat land first because the ramp would throw them off a bit.
Doesn't seem to have affected Carlo too much.
No,
doing some
not
really
at all.
nice stuff.
Not at all.
And again, Carlo's looking very controlled, very relaxed about it.
Yes, he is. He is.
30 seconds to go. Even when he's putting his feet down, I mean, he's not getting hyper about it. He's just getting back on his bike nicely and getting on with it.
Right. You can see the intense concentration on his face there, too. He's trying his best, as they all are.
Well, I think if you take into account the pressure that's on him just for the title, I mean, we are talking like the World Championship. And when you've got everybody else watching as well.
That's right. That trick there, it's a nice way to win.
That was Carlo Griggs. Let's move on to the score. Well, we've had a World Championship full of incident. We've had blown tyres and missed times and everything. We're now going to move on to the results for the 14 plus flatland, and it's close. Oliver Matthews, 138. Karl Denton, very good rider, 153. Jason Webb, 151. Carlo Griggs, 150. And the 14 plus flatland world champion, Karl Denton. Okay, here we go, 16 plus flatland at the World Championships.
Yeah, our rider here is doing a nice job to begin with. He looks very professional. All skywayed out. Going into his swivel, nice and smooth there. One hand in it, back on the pedals, looking good. Sliding on backwards. He hasn't touched down as yet. Switzerland squeaker time. 1 foot in it, 1 foot on the front peg. A lot of brake work being done there. Touchdown. Back on the pedals. He's not riding around a whole lot, meaning that he is tying his tricks together. A little speed there. And spinning. I think sometimes when you go too fast, you have a tendency to touch down. He did very well. Wheel hops. You'll notice, Andy, too, we have a lot of boomerang-type movements, a lot of spinning around the handlebars.
That's right, it's great to watch. One thing I've also noticed is that the hopping tricks, like the front hops, back hops, that kind of stuff, has really gone out the window now. I mean, nobody seems to really
To a degree,
get too much
you'll still see, similar to this, it'll be used in conjunction with some other trick as a setup or something like that.
Certainly haven't seen too much of it. That was the 30-second buzzer. This is the 16 plus flatland, only on the ground. Nothing on the ramps. The ramps are coming up.
Back and around. Yeah, back on those pedals. He has a few touchdowns. He's the judges, I'm sure, are going to be impressed by his smoothness. His flow is right there. One trick after another. Nice movement, yeah. And back down.
Okay, that was timeout for Jason Davis, another English rider. Okay, James Hudson, also from England. Ron, what do you think about the English riders so far? Because they seem to be dominating the competition so far.
I'm very impressed as well. I'm impressed on the flatland with the French riders. The French riders, they have it all. They know the tricks. They haven't missed anything.
Are they as strong on the ramp, the French riders?
I think that the French riders have it on the ground insofar as strength. I don't see the ramp as being their strength. No, not the ones represented here. The English riders are definitely hot on the ramp. The USA riders, of course, are. I say, of course, because there's a gentleman you're going to meet later, I'm sure, that will knock your socks off.
Sure. Now, he's going for some pretty difficult tricks there. I understand that was a gut lever, which you have to be pretty strong to do that.
Yes. You don't have to be strong to be in a freestyle. I mean, strength certainly is a factor in what kind of tricks you're going to end up doing. There are power moves. You've got lever top gun and different moves like that. We have a gentleman here that looks like a gymnast and performs like a gymnast on his bike. We'll probably see him later. And he is quite strong. He looks as though he works out. He doesn't. He says the bike keeps him in shape. I think that's another reason for doing freestyle. It does keep you in shape. If you use the proper safety equipment, you can stay in shape.
How important is safety to freestyle riders? I mean, all the riders, obviously, that are in the competition are wearing helmets, etc., etc. But what about the guys on the street? I mean, the freestylers in general are very safety conscious. Is that right?
They are. I think they are. And I think that after a few falls, after a few elbow bangs, I think you start getting the idea that maybe elbow pads would help. And the helmet, of course, is a must. And any of the viewers out there that are thinking about getting into freestyle, you're going to buy an expensive bike, you have a lot of money to spend. Don't spend it all on a bike. Spend it on the safety equipment as well. Right.
I mean, if figures that if you've got like a 10-pound head, buy a 10-pound helmet.
That's right. That's right. We have crowd response here. The crowd seems to enjoy this particular rider.
Timeout for James Hudson.
Fine ride, this young man. Nice ride. I'm sure he scored well.
Okay, we now move on to Larry Ball, another English rider from the Western BMX Centre.
Coming out with a strong move. If he had bailed on that, I'm sure it would have upset his concentration. He chose to come out strong with a rubber ride. This rider happens to be one of my riders. I'm very proud of him. Fine young man.
What's his main area in freestyle? Is it like ground or ramps? Because usually the riders are either stronger on one or the other.
Yes, his strength is on flat land. And I think it's obvious he's
well,
doing
we can see that now, that's for sure.
Yes, right. He's a nice young man, too. A real fine young man, as many of the riders are. As I said before, I'm really impressed, not only with the riding, but the caliber of people we have here. 2 foot net, going on back. No hands. Touchdown on that. It's too bad. That was a fine trick.
That was looking very good. How important is the mental preparation for a competition like this? I mean, we've said before that this is the World Championship. There's a lot of tension. There's obviously TV cameras watching as well. It doesn't seem to be affecting him too much.
No, this young man, last night, I understand, made sure that he got to bed early enough so that he could get some rest. And that's been a key to this thing, is how much can you do without rest? And you really can't. You have to be in shape. You have to sleep. You have to eat properly. They're athletes. This is a legitimate sport. It's not playtime. He's doing a really nice job.
30 seconds to go. Now, how would he actually prepare mentally? I mean, would he like section himself off on his own for a while, or would he just joke around with the lads for a few hours before the competition, or what? I think what you said is good advice to a rider. Is that mental attitude is important, and that's something to keep in mind. Yes, I think you have to visualize in your mind. Oh, we'll talk about that. Okay, we now move on to the next rider, David Chabert from France. We're now getting international flavour here, rider from France and England, and looking very good so far. Let's get back to the mental preparation we were talking about, Ron.
Right.
Are all riders the same in the way they prepare, or does it differ?
I think it differs. I think some of them are wise to the fact that they do have to be thinking constantly about what they're doing. They can't be distracted by outside sounds. A nice trick. This is called a backyard. He did a no-handed backyard. Remember I said earlier that the French have a good, strong advantage on the ground. And here's an example of what I was talking about.
Well, they're looking great so far. Obviously prepared
real
well for
nice.
the competition.
Real nice. Front yard going on right here. Looking real good.
Would the ground riders prepare any differently from the ramp riders? Because on the ramp, obviously, is there more stress in ramp riding? Because obviously, you know, when you're shooting 8 or 10 feet out the top of those ramps, I mean, it's pretty hair-raising. One
thing I've noticed on the ramp riding is that endurance, I think, is a key to success. One of the keys to success. We have some riders that do some fantastic aerials, 4 or 5 of them, and then in the middle of their routine, they get winded. And I think you have to have a little bit more in the way of endurance insofar as riding strength. Oh, nice done. Nicely done.
30 seconds to go. Again, that buzzer very important because this is the part of the routine where he'll hit everything he's got.
Setting up quite a distance away from the center of the performance area. And usually when they do that, it is for some kind of a long movement.
Oh,
from a bar ride to a rubber ride.
That was tremendous. That was great.
So she had pulled it off. It still got a nice reaction from the crowd.
Well, we had a few French riders and German riders on international BMX Beat a short time ago. And I think even since then, they've really improved. That was the last 4 riders in the 16 plus flatland. Let's hit the scores. Okay, 16 plus flatland riding is getting amazing. Now, we have Jason Davis on 138. We have James Hudson on 117. Larry Bull on 140. And David Chabert from France on 148, the world 60 plus flatland champion, David Chabert from France.